Go Wolves. Shawnee Smith. Costas Mandylor. All right, guys. These guys are going to talk about the experience they've had, obviously, in front of the camera, trying to elude the clutches of the evil Jigsaw. All right, guys. I'm going to hand the mic off to them. You guys want to just start talking about it a bit? And there we go. And then we'll take some questions, all right? Go for it. Okay, here we go. So I got to ask.
Is this thing on?
That's on.
Hello.
Okay, Shawnee, I want to ask, how did you first come to be involved in the Saw franchise?
Are you guys not bored of this story yet?
Never.
I was at, my manager was at the management company that produced the movie also, and they called me in the conference room and showed me the short film and said James loved my movies from the 80s and wanted me to be in the jaw trap scene. I said, I'm flattered and it looks bitchin', so I'm in. Any questions? Doesn't have to be about that subject. Yes?
I just have to ask, what was it like working with John Candy? I love that guy.
Oh, the best. The best. He was the best. If he could have been a fraction as kind to himself and generous as he was to everyone around him, he'd probably still be with us. He was great. One night he called me up, and I was like 18 or something, and he says, "Hey, Shawnee, it's John." I says, "Oh, hi, John." He says, "Come downstairs to the lobby." I says, "I'm sleeping." He says, "Trust me, come downstairs." I came downstairs, and it was John Candy and John Bon Jovi, the whole band, in a white limo. And we went to strip clubs and a live, and literally John Bon Jovi sat in the back with me, telling me all about his wife, and he was like the nicest guy. And then we ended up at a live music venue, and John got up on the stage and jammed out with the band. It's pretty awesome. It was fun. It was an honor, yeah. He's a beautiful person.
Who's got another question?
If y'all could change one thing about the series, what would it be?
Change one thing about it?
Then you'd have to change a million.
Yeah, exactly.
That's a tricky
I wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I think that the series holds up so well. I mean, it's much of the reason why you're all here. I mean, the franchise works. I wouldn't change a thing.
What would you change?
Same answer.
I think it's the best, safest one. But here's the unsafe person.
I wish I was hanging out with John Candy right now. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. You showed up for 7 of them. What would you change? Nothing. You know? Next question, Your Honor.
Right there.
Of all the traps in the movies, what's y'all's favorite? And there was ever a time on set where y'all got so grossed out that y'all had to leave?
You know, I'll just say this, that there's so many great traps. Everybody has their favorite, but the biggest kick I ever got was with an audience of about 2,000 people in Vegas. It was Saw 5, and it was the beginning of the movie with the pendulum trap. And when it faded to black, the audience went apeshit, crazy. And that was a real thrill. So I remember that one.
Yes.
Did you have any reservations with doing a horror movie before you got into it?
I'm just one of those actors that loves to work and act. And I don't really pay particular attention to. I'm not so picky. I just like to work. I'm glad I picked this one.
Yep.
I've got one for Costas. Was it your idea to have Hoffman look away from all the traps when they went off?
There was various directors that had different ideas, and sometimes we looked right at them, and sometimes we avoided it. You know, how deep in his heart was he cruel, and how deep was he not? Just adjustments.
I always just found it interesting that, like, in Seven, when he's stabbing people, he's like fine with it, but like even with Jill, he looks away when it goes off.
Well, you know, there's a heart in everybody somewhere. But, you know, he got carried away and he had a conscience at some point, I guess. Unlike me.
What was that? Horror comedy, what do you prefer?
I think anything that is done well stays with you. So if it's quality, it's all great.
Well, there's horror and comedy and horror. And it's fun to find the opposite in each. Cary?
Yeah, I would agree. Laughter is fear, if you think about it. You're laughing that mishap is happening to that person and not you. And I gotta tell you, I laughed my ass off when I first saw Saw. I sure did, even though it was me who was happening to. Yeah, I like doing both. I like mixing it up. I've gotten to do, obviously, great horror and great comedy, so I'm very blessed.
You know, Cary, we were talking about the other day about the Saw set on Saw 1. You know, Saw 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and Saw 3D were shot in Toronto. Could you tell everyone what and Shawnee can talk to, what the set was like in the original Saw that was shot in Los Angeles? It was interesting.
Yeah, very different. So when we did the first movie, the studios that they picked, it wasn't really a studio at all. It was a disused mill, textile mill, warehouse, downtown Los Angeles, and they nicknamed it Lacey Studios because they shot a lot of Cagney and Lacey there. And one room had a little kind of miniature hospital set, which is what we used for the scene where Dr. Gordon is looking at a jigsaw as a patient. One little set had a little tiny police office, and that's what we used when Shaney came in. And the rest of the building was just rotting and falling apart. And James Wan, when he saw it, went, "This is perfect," because they didn't really have to do much dressing to it, you know. We built the bathroom set because that was very specific, but Lee's apartment was already there. They just painted that. They gave it a fresh coat of paint. The parking lot, the underground garage, that was already there. So it was all one location, which the producers were excited about, because when you're making a movie, the most expensive thing to do is to pick up the crew and move to another location, because it takes a lot of time and it's expensive. So when they found this location, realizing that they could utilize it and shoot it all in one place was amazing. And it was very very nasty place to hang out in. It was really rough, wasn't it? I mean, I met the owner, and I said to him, how much work do you get here? He goes, well, I get a lot of music videos and pornography. I said, it figures. He said, would you like to meet my cats? I said, I think I'm going to, aren't I? This is Trixie, she has one eye. This is Judy, she only has 3 legs. I said, oh, I'm in the right place right here. So anyway, by the time I came back to shoot Saw 7, they had moved the production up to Toronto, right? And we were in a studio that they actually had built themselves, and it was a much more professional studio. It had its own art department, its own prop department, its own makeup department, its own wardrobe department. I mean, it was really, we went from this tiny little location downtown to this very expensive studio that we shot in for the last one. And it was quite a change. It was quite a different feeling. I actually had a trailer and I had a chair. I remember turning to Dan Heffner, the producer, when I have a chair? What? Because we never sat down in the first movie. There wasn't time to sit down. We were shooting sometimes 15 pages of dialogue a day, and if we were sitting down, it meant the camera was broken, Okay, here's Shawnee.
That's so funny because I did an episode of Cagney and Lacey. I didn't know that was that. They filmed a lot there. Who knows? Maybe I was. And we filmed Scream Queens there, the big finale. Oh, thank you very much. Yes? Any other questions?
Are there any movies that you regret doing?
Wow. I'd prefer not to mention them. Would you like answers from?
Yeah.
Who wants to answer that question? Any other
We'll
questions?
skip that.
I don't live in regret.
Very good.
Sure.
For all of you, since you've participated in these films now, you look at household appliances. Do you have a different perspective about them, or do they kind of say, "Yeah, I remember that"?
There's days when my washing machine and my dishwasher and my toaster are all not working, so I bring the toaster into the washroom, and I turn to both of them. I go, guys, knock it off.
We'll leave it at that.
Next question.
What are some of y'all's favorite directors that you've worked with?
All the guys on Saw that I worked with were different and funny, and they got the joke and they were diligent, so I enjoyed them. But there's many different people through the years that were great to work with. Well, I worked with one guy that he worked with, I think, Robert Zemeckis. Have you worked with him? Great guy. And a top movie maker, so he's wonderful.
John Huston?
Wow.
Legend.
Back off.
That's impressive. I can't top John Huston. I've been very blessed, gotten to work with some incredible directors. Francis Coppola. Just kidding. No, I'm very blessed. Directors, you learn something from each one that you work with. I think that's fair to say for actors. You always come away with something that you learn from each one. I know that on the Saw series, I couldn't believe how gentle the directors were. You think for this series, you would have really tough, macho, hardcore, very intense people. But James, and some of you have probably met him already, and Kevin Greuter are the most gentle, sweet, loving, compassionate people. And here they are directing scenes where, limbs are flying in all directions. It's very funny, very interesting.
Next question.
Do I prefer briefs or boxers?
Dana, behave.
It depends how I'm feeling on the day.
Next question.
This is actually for all of you. What, out of all 7 parts, is your favorite?
My least favorite is the last one because Cary locked me up in the bathroom.
My favorite was locking Costas up.
Wow. Gosh. In like a pleasant way or just horrific?
Either or. Take your choice.
Make
your choice.
Make your choice.
You have 10 seconds.
God, I don't know how I ever got out of a trap. I can't decide. I can tell you, like, that epileptic seizure on the operating table
Part 3.
that John had was very disturbing. That's probably the most disturbing of any other thing I filmed in the whole series.
Next question.
This is for Cary. In reading the final script for Saw 7, were you surprised to find out that your character had been assisting Jigsaw? And is that how you wanted it to play out for Dr. Gordon?
Yes, I figured the only way they could bring him back would be either, well, there could two ways. One is that it would be a revenge theme, or the other would be that he had become one of his minions, you know. And so I figured it was going to be one of the two. But obviously, becoming one of his disciples was going to be far more interesting and devious than the other choice. So I figured it would be one of those two, and I was kind of happy that they picked the one they picked. It was all very much under wraps and very top secret, and I got pages as they were written. I didn't get the whole script, and it was very hush-hush, and I was told to shred the pages when I finished reading them. And it was very, very, they were very careful not to leak it out, because they didn't want to ruin it for all you guys. So, yeah.
This is for Cary also. You're such a great actor, you're so versatile with all the roles you've done.
Thank you.
Is there one or two other projects you've done besides Saw that you're extremely proud of? That, like in particular, a certain movie or two that was your
I'm very
favorite
proud
to
of.
do?
You know, I'm proud of most of the work I've done. I mean, look, I've made some films that didn't turn out quite as I had hoped, but I'm really proud that I've had such a varied career. What was that?
Men in tights.
Huh? Men in tights. Are there some fans here today? You guys are very kind, really. I'm very blessed. Thank you. Thank you. As you wish to.
Call for the locksmith.
Huh? What?
A locksmith.
I'm very blessed. I really am. I consider myself very blessed. You know, you're lucky as an actor just to be working. It's a tough business. It's very competitive, and you know, like I said, I've learned something from every movie I've been on. And you know, if you get a chance to work with people who teach you a little bit of something about life and about yourself, that's another blessing. So, you know, it's like going back to school, really. You know, I get to learn how to be a doctor, a race car driver, an astronaut, a sword fencer, you know, a dashing pirate or whatever. You know, I get to live all these lives in a way that's really exciting and beneficial to me, because I come away with something from every movie. So.
That was an incredible sword fight.
Thank you. Thank you.
Considering your villain roles like
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
Jonas Miller and the very real depiction of Ted Bundy,
Yes.
are you attracted to the villain roles, or are they attracted to you?
I think they're attracted to me. There's something about being British that gets casting directors excited when they're searching for villains. I mean, I think Alan Rickman probably set the bar very high when he did Die Hard and then Harry Potter, you know what I mean? And you know, Cary Elwes, let's face it, nobody plays villains like Cary Elwes. So I think it's something about being British. I guess we've got that attitude that people like for villains. Go ahead, Shawn.
How do you like it?
Oh my God. Whoa! Wow, she got a tattoo with her name on her arm. Oh my God. Amanda, thank you. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
That's marriage material.
Wow. I'm already married. That's very sweet of you. Thank you.
Well, when you get divorced.
For Shawnee, what are some of your favorite memories of playing Linda on Becker?
Oh gosh, the gay cruise. when she's looking, she says, "Please tell me you mean happy." And then Peter comes back, and I've got the sunglasses on, and he walks in, he doesn't say a word. I thought he was gonna kill me for sure. That was hilarious. Okay, here's the thing. Oh my gosh, there's so many. When I took the fax roll and like wrapped it around the thing to answer the phone, and then there's 5.5 years. There's a video a fan did that was. I think tears poured down my cheeks as I watched it. It was like, this is your life, Linda. It's somewhere out there on the YouTube. That was a real lucky break.
Next.
How each of y'all were in your own traps, and y'all only had one way to get out. In real life, if y'all were in those traps, y'all think y'all would be capable of doing that in real life? Like maybe you would. I think I could cut off my foot.
You would chew off your own foot for your child, I think. I don't know if anything else would be that compelling. Certainly not myself.
How hard was it making movies?
Movies are always hard to make because you want to make them really well. It takes a lot of hours, but they're fun to make too. So we got a good job.
It takes a lot of teamwork to make a film. It really does. And you hear that a lot, but it really does. I mean, if you've never been on a movie set, you don't realize just how many people are involved in making a scene work. Just a scene. Forget the whole movie. You've got wardrobe, makeup, hair, lighting, all the lighting crew, props, set design, camera, everything. I mean, it's just so much work that goes into making a film that, actors really have an incredible body of people around them, with them, working with them, that help to make our work easier and better. And so, you have to kind of figure that in when you watch a film now, and you can sort of get to appreciate, the kind of teamwork that's involved in making a movie.
I was just wondering, are there any deleted scenes or alternate scenes that got cut from the Saw movies that you wish they kept in? Just a question for all three of you, please.
I wish they would have showed the whole fight scene with Donnie and me. We would have got the MTV award for sure.
How heavy was the head piece?
It was heavy. I mean, especially in Saw 1, or just Saw.
So was it like
By
metal?
Saw.
I mean, was it really metal?
Yeah. The first one was, then when I came back, I think for 6 or 3 that we redid. In 6, they redid it. Was it a little more perfected, a little more lightweight, but the first one, and the gnarliest thing was when flinging my head around like I'm fighting for my life, holding that whole thing with the tongue depressor between my teeth. That was the tricky business.
Wow.
But yeah, it was pretty, yeah.
Next question.
Did any of you keep anything from the films that they were done?
John Raven has them all.
John Raven has everything, but I have...
Shawnee has an incredible item.
I have the actual letter that John wrote me in the scene, the heartbreaking original letter that has...
Tobin wrote it in his own hand.
Yeah, Tobin wrote... By John, I mean Tobin, not this John. I have that in a little box that Tobin gave me after Saw 3. And the Origin of the Species book that he gave me for light reading material. Darwin.
Since you've been acting in these movies, have you really thought about what you do with your life more?
Yeah, I mean, the children in the Saw movies make me consider that. Yeah, gosh, getting on a plane to come here, it's amazing. Like the day before, get on a plane, how I look at the children and you think, God, what if this is the last? And you never know. It always could be. So at any time, I imagine living your whole every day like that would be incredible. But then it's kind of crazy that we don't, appreciate one another and our lives to that degree. It's a good question. Cary, I know Costas wants to get deep into this discussion, this philosophical discussion.
Cherish your life.
Cherish Your Life by Costas Mandylor.
Speaking of Costas, we're going to turn the mic over to Costas right now.
On behalf of my fellow actors, I've been asked to do a deed today, and I played a priest once on Sex and the City, and I'm far from one, but I'll do my best. There's a guy in the audience that's wants to do something special in front of you. Does anybody believe in love in this room? Romantic love story, we talked about that. There's a guy.
Does anybody believe in love?
Does anybody believe in love? Hallelujah. Thanks, coach. Chase, stand up. Everybody, round of applause. He's got to talk to his girl about something.
Will you marry me? Yes? Yes?
Yo!
Thank you very much.
Well done, brother. Well done. Yeah. Yeah, but that would do. Takes a lot of guts. Love is the power supreme. Silver Surfer.
We're so happy that you said yes.
And they lived happily ever after watching Saw movies together.
Congratulations, guys.
Well, let's just let that settle for a moment.
Taking questions, John? You just recovered there, girl. You taking more questions? His hands
Well,
everywhere.
I want you have to let that settle.
Oh.
We just can't go right into it.
Let's get him a room immediately.
If it's a girl, I want her named Amanda.
Try and find a doctor named Gordon to deliver the baby.
And if it's a boy, don't name him Hoffman. How long have you two been together? 2 years? That's good.
He's crazy about college, so I have to do it.
Well, before he asked her.
Costas left the building.
Do you wish that the series would continue?
What's that?
Did you wish that the series would continue other than like just the final chapter?
Did you hear that?
She asked, do you wish that the franchise would continue?
Well, there's two things that I haven't done. I haven't gotten revenge on Dr. Gordon, and I haven't kissed Shawnee Smith. They're my two objectives, if anything ever happened, which they say is not going to happen.
Well, let's ask you all. You all want to see the series come back.
How was working with James Wan?
James Wan.
James, like I said earlier, is one of the sweetest guys, and just a gentle man, very sweet. And he was a lesson to me in how not to judge a book by its cover, because before I met him and I read the script, I thought I was going to meet someone with, it's definitely not him, that's for sure. And he's just a very lovable guy, very, very smart. He studied movies like you wouldn't believe. I mean, he's a real film buff, obviously a real horror film buff. He's a real fan of Dario Argento and Italian horror, but he can name you every Hammer horror film that's ever been made and who was in it, and the best scenes that he likes and things like that. And he and Lee studied in film school in Melbourne, so they're real. They've studied their craft, and so it was a joy to get on the set. And I was on the first day of shooting. I said to him, "Here you go, man. You know everything you've done in your life has prepared you for this moment, and you're ready." And he was, and we had a blast. And I miss him. I miss working with him. So we're talking about finding something else to do together.
Cool. Hey. Next question.
Being on the set of Saw and seeing all the traps, did you ever find that your mind would wander and think about your own traps that you could set up, or not in real life?
I honestly, my mind would wonder about how I could get out of this dang trap, go lie down in a trailer if there was one. That's where my mind would wander. No, I don't. The last thing you want to think about is traps when you're in one. Like I said earlier, we were really chained to that wall. I don't recommend that. Unless you're really into that. In which case, good on you.
Next question, all the way back.
But not all like you, is what he said. Did you say something about phone sex? Did you hear that? Happy birthday, by the way. Happy birthday. What was the question?
One item on set that you kept or wanted to keep?
I have my letter.
Is there one item you'd like to have? One item you'd like to have?
I've tried to steal a few things, but I'm on the surveillance 24 hours a day on that set, so I got no shot.
Next question.
Yeah, I saw recently in the past season of Psych, and I wondered, are those two guys as crazy as they seem to be? And related also, was there ever a time in Saw rehearsals that you guys just broke up and had a really difficult time?
Okay, and answer your first question, yes, James and Dulé are just hysterical, really funny guys, and that's why I wanted to do the show. I don't really delve into television too much. I get a lot of offers to do it, but I don't really, because I don't watch that much TV. But when they sent me the script and they said, watch the show, it's on USA, check it out. I did, and I thought they were just two of the biggest goofballs I'd ever seen. And I loved the show. I thought it was hysterical. And I loved working with them. It was great fun. I mean, they just a very light set, just crazy and fun. And on Saw, mostly it was sort of, James 1 has a very infectious laugh, really infectious. And when he laughs, I tell you, the whole crew would just bust up because, if something went wrong or there's a lot of outtakes of things like hacksaws flying through the air that weren't supposed to. We'd all just bust up because it's just so crazy, Dan Hefner, the producer on the film, was the first AD as well on the first one, which is very rare and shows you how cool he is because there aren't that many producers who AD as well. And he had a crew with him, a crew of ADs that were hysterical. This one girl, Squirrel, we just do it. I love practical jokes. So we would just do practical jokes every single day to relieve the boredom. And she would put cream cheese under my car door handle. I would put paper in her sandwiches, things like that. And we just kept it going every day. So that was a lot of fun.
Next question.
Yeah, stepping off the practical joke thing, I was just actually about to ask about that because I know it happens a lot on the set. What
I put a goat in Charlie Sheen's trailer and filmed it. That was good.
Beat that.
I know, really. Where do you go from there?
Favorite
What?
prank that was pulled on you, or you pulled on someone?
Listen, look, this wasn't done on purpose, but in Saw 4, I remember going into the morgue where Tobin Bell's, Jigsaw's body's on the slab. Remember when they take out his guts and they take out the tape recorder? Well, I walk into the set and there's a naked Tobin Bell, pube hairs and everything, and I'm going, oh shit! Put that away. What's the matter? Put a towel on the guy. Ah, it wasn't him. It was a dummy. The guys are so good at what they do. It was actually a naked dummy of Tobin Bell that looked real. That was a practical joke that wasn't meant to happen, but it happened to me. True story.
This is for Cary. Do you have any fun stories with Mel Brooks?
Mel is a great guy to be around. Not so much practical jokes, but he's just such a positive guy. He's really into affirmations, all about saying yes. Every day, you let you rehearse something, you go, yes, that's great, let's do that. And he just kept a very light set and made us laugh all day. He's again, another guy with an infectious laugh. And I just went to a screening of his. He's got a new DVD coming out of interviews with Dick Cavett, which I recommend if you're a Mel Brooks fan. That's coming out very soon. Hysterical. It was kind of like a reunion for Robin Hood because a lot of the cast were there and we all came to the screening together and hung out. It was fun. Next question.
This is for Shawnee. I was curious to see what was it like working with Ted Danson on Becker the whole time. Was he like kind of a prankster type, or was he serious of like his character was?
Ted's great. Ted is very. He really is concerned about being a good guy. So he's very conscious of go team go, and he's great. I mean, that's a long time to be consistent, and he's consistently stellar. And we had a few. Occasionally he would drink tequila, and then we would all see why he did it only occasionally. He's great. That was a pleasure and honor.
Cary, I was wondering if you made an appearance on the Saw unrated commentary. I was wondering if Marlon Brando would be by.
Oh, I did Marlon Brando on the commentary? I got to work with Marlon Brando on Superman for a couple of days, just as an AD, as a PA actually. What am I saying? AD, I was a PA. And Marlon was a character, and obviously one of my favorite actors. And the AD brought me to the trailer and knocked on the door, and we heard from inside, yeah, who was it? And the AD said, it's Kathy, Mr. Brando, I have a new PA I wanted to introduce. He goes, okay, no, we'll be a minute. A few seconds later, the door opens, and there's Marlon in a big towel robe. He says, oh, come on in, come in. Go inside the trailer, and Kathy says, Mr. Brando, this is the new PA. His name's Cary. He goes, no, it isn't. And I thought to myself, oh boy. I go, it isn't? He goes, no, it's not. It's not Cary. It's Rocky. And so my name was Rocky. From there on in. Every time I knocked on the trailer, you go, is that Rocky? What do you want, Rocky? So I became Rocky to Marlon Brando, which was a real thrill for a day or two.
Title of a book right there.
Next question.
I was wondering if there are any scenes that made you concentrate for because there were
Because they were what?
Gore.
Yes.
Too gory.
Too gory for you.
Yes.
Were the films too gory for us?
No.
Any scene?
Oh, any scenes too gory? Oh, I see.
That that seizure was pretty awful, even worse than the brain surgery. And Tobin had really. Oh, there's my baby back there. Hello. Hi. I'm in love with that child. I held him for about 2 hours yesterday. It was awesome. Wow. Hi. Hello. I love you. Tobin approaches everything. He approached it very scientifically, and it was very real and terrifying. That was very difficult. And it was one of those where they said cut, and I walked off the set and let it go. It was very upsetting. Is that what you meant? Hello? Yes? We don't understand your question. You don't understand our answer. Yes, approximate. Cary?
For me, the most gory thing was watching these two guys. Because when I came back to do 7, they asked me to watch all the Saw movies again, just to refresh my memory. And I stupidly thought I could sit down and watch them all in one sitting. That was not a good idea. Don't do it. Really, not unless you really, really mean it. But I saw Shawnee do the scene with her and the needles, and that I had to fast forward through that one. And then when I shot with Costas, and he has that scene where half his face is torn off, he did that so realistically, and the way that he had that bandage, you had that bandage on your face, I had to fast forward through that too. That disturbed me a lot.
You know, that was a cold day. The scene near the end of the movie in Saw 3D when the pig attack scene with Cary and then 2 other pigmen attacked and captured Costas. That was a very cold night in Toronto. Costas, did you...
Did I freeze my little ass off? Yes. Thank God we got the good crews. We make them laugh. They keep us warm. But we got through it. Cary won again. God damn. You know what's gory? I have to put this out there, but drinking with you guys at the end of the evening is kind of gory. All right, Frenchie, did you get that? Treacherous and gory, drinking with the Saw fans after work.
Shawnee, what was it like working on the stand?
Oh, that was great. Thanks. I hadn't worked in a while. I was ready to move to North Carolina and go to college. And then, and I remember driving around in my car. I remember where I was in Venice, on the side street, and I got a phone call from my agent. And they says, we have an offer for you. I said, what? I pulled the car over. And I had auditioned for that months before, and Diane Lane was set to play that part, and then she got pregnant. And is it your child? It worked out for me, and then I got pregnant, and I lost out on a good job because part filmed at the beginning and then part filmed at the end. They do not like to hire pregnant ladies because you just never know what will happen. And if you're shooting, the stuff we filmed in the stand in Vegas was like 2 months after the stuff for Pratt, Kansas. So they says, well, Diane Lane's pregnant, she can't do it, and and the director, Mick Garris, wants you to do it. They had it on my audition on videotape or something. And that was like the beginning of, it was one of those moments where everything just kind of freezes around you and you're like, wow, guess I won't move to North Carolina. And then it was just fun. So much of that stuff was just in the moment, spontaneous. I remember hanging out the window, and as soon as they said cut, like 3 ADs grabbed me. They're like, you can't do that. I said, wasn't it great? Wow, I ripped my tights. This is awesome. Or like when I threw my shoe in. I was so pissed. I threw my shoe, and then after I washed it, and it's like, kung, 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 kung. You know, like, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. I was excited about it, can you tell?
Okay, we got about 5 more minutes, so we can get a couple more questions.
Oh,
to
hi,
start
Mark.
right there. Hi, I'm sorry I'm very late. I'm sorry. I apologize. Shawnee,
What the hell happened to you?
They told me 2 o'clock, and so I walked in here at 1:30 and was highly embarrassed.
You were too cozy with Costas last night. You were still sleeping, admit it.
It's his baby. Right back
My question is to Cary and Shawnee. What was it like working with Danny Glover?
here. What was it like working with Danny Glover?
Danny, that's pretty awesome. You got to, did you work with him more than? I worked with him more. He's great. He's just like, it's like he's got a joke that no one else is in on, but you want to get in on it.
He really is. He's a sweet guy and a wonderful actor. And I think we were so lucky to get him, really. I mean, we couldn't believe it when he signed on. And, you know, because obviously he's played some pretty amazing roles, and he's been a pretty good cop in some other movies. And so we were very lucky to get him. And he was a trooper. I loved it. He came up with some wonderful things. And I think my first day shooting was with him, so I was a little intimidated. I had to meet him in my office and be interviewed by him. But he was a sweetheart, really fun, really great actor.
If I could throw a what was it like in there, can we talk about Michael Emerson for a minute? Because he was terrific, and of course went on to be fantastic in Lost. So what was your experience like working with him? I know it was kind of brief.
Very brief. I didn't know that he's a Shakespeare-trained actor. You know, I mean, he's a very seriously trained actor, theater school, the whole thing. Wonderful guy, and perfect casting. I mean, God, Zap, what a character. Holy mackerel. He said very little in the movie, you know, and I think that's the hardest acting, when you have a part where you really have to define the character by what's going on inside and through your eyes, and he did that really well.
Okay, I saw a hand, I think back there. I'll get to you next. Okay, right back there.
What was your first reaction when you saw the Saw puppet? Did you feel like it was going to be an iconic character?
First reaction to the Saw puppet, the clown puppet.
My first reaction was when James pulled out a drawing of it that he'd done from his portfolio at our first meeting at the farmer's market in Los Angeles. And I laughed. I went, no way. He said, yeah, wait. I said, that's great. I go, did you design that yourself? He goes, yeah. I go, people are gonna remember. I said, you know, you copyright that right now, because that's gonna be on lunch boxes for sure. And now look at that character. I mean, the tricycle, they stopped making the tricycle, and now there's only there's only 3 of them left or something. I mean, we had to somebody stole one on one movie. Costas. He has it upstairs. He rides it every day.
At least he's using it.
Right here.
Are there any roles that you regret not taking?
Oh, that's a good one. Any roles you regret not taking?
Oh, gosh, so many. So many. All the roles I was offered and didn't take. You're not an actor. You usually take most roles offered.
I'm shy, so.
We're going to close this out, but I did want to ask you, all three of you, what has your experience been like here at Texas Frightmare Weekend? Just kind of, if you can sum it up for us.
Texas rocks. And by the way, Saw fans are the best fans, okay? All right? Thanks to you, we have the #1 Guinness Book of World Records highest, biggest horror franchise in the history of the world, and that's because of you.
I want to say a big thank you to Costas Mandylor, Shawnee Smith, and Cary Elwes. So, and also,
And congratulations to our lovely couple.
yes, absolutely. And a big thank you to John Raven for bringing them out. Thank you very much for coming out to Texas Frightmare Weekend.